Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the channel where you join me on a beautiful day here in California for something that I've been waiting for and something that I am very excited about. Today, we're going to be fitting a new exhaust system to my Ford GT. Now, it is still surreal that this car is over here in the USA, and you will notice I'm currently visiting my friend Parker from Vehicle Virgins, his McLaren 600 LT, my Ford GT, side by side in the garages. But let me explain then what we're doing today, and then later on we're going to hear the new sound from my Ford GT. I cannot wait. Let's do this. The day is just getting started, but the sun is already beating down here. It is way too hot for me. The neighbours are out doing some gardening, but how crazy is this? The two cars side by side, Parker's McLaren 600 LT, and the spec of this is stunning. MSO Lantana purple for the paintwork. You've got the MSO carbon fibre snorkel, the carbon louvres. It's also got the 1016 Industries carbon bonnet, or carbon hood I should say, out here. But we've been doing a little bit of driving with that car and with mine side by side in the canyons. What an amazing amount of fun it is, but the one thing that this car needs is a little bit more sound. Now I say that because, well, we've got a 3.5 litre EcoBoost twin turbo V6. It is not exactly the most punchy engine in the world, and this car, being a Euro spec, actually has even more baffles in the muffler, which make it much quieter than a US one. Now the car, when it's idling, actually you tend to hear the fans, intakes and vents and things even more loudly than the exhaust note. And since I've been here in the USA and I've heard a couple of local cars, I've been kind of like, well, why don't I have that? Why don't we have that over in Europe? It's a different exhaust system for over in the UK, but mine was actually one of the very, if not the last, European delivered Ford GT from the first batch. It was the very end of the second year of production, and I didn't actually have the option to upgrade it. So I thought, given you might have seen in one of my previous videos, we've been getting some slightly funny rattles from it, I thought, why not just upgrade this to the US spec titanium sports exhaust from Akrapovic, the original OEM part that you get on the US GTs. And yes, that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So I will give you a quick sound check so that you can hear what it's like with the original system. Later on, we will hear it with the new one. The one thing I'm a little bit sad about in a way is that I'm going to lose those lovely fighter jet style exhaust tips, which you can't actually get anymore on the US cars, but the new system has a totally new look. The new system actually has the tips integrated into it. So what we're going to be doing is taking this car over to Galpin. We'll put it up on the ramps. You take off the diffuser underneath. It's pretty easy actually to do, and then the exhaust system lifts out and the new one goes in. I think first things first though, let's come through, get the car unlocked, because we should start it up so you can hear how this sounds at the moment before we then later on hear it with the new system. That is of course running the cold start on the car. You can hear it's deep and grumbly, and for a V6 it actually sounds really good. But the interesting thing is when you hear this in comparison with the US exhaust and how much difference there actually is. I've also got some plans for what we're going to do with this one. You can hear it's now got a little bit softer, but this is where if the car's being parked outside for a while, the vents start running and they get massively louder than that exhaust system, particularly the radiators and cooling that you've got up front as well. But I think my plan right now is to get out on the road, and of course, being up here, we are surrounded also by some lovely roads to enjoy, which we will do later on with the new system installed. But let's get over there, go and check it out and see what it's going to be like. And oh look, Ford GT problems, fuel level low. The fuel level is always low. I keep joking about this in videos. It is definitely a thing. If you have a Ford GT, you are always at the gas station, that's for sure. But nonetheless, I'm going to be taking it, and every drive is a good one, so bring it on. Where I'm heading now then is over towards Galpin Autosports. You might be familiar with Galpin. I've actually been there myself about 5 years ago, but they are a very big Ford dealer in the region, and they are where we're going. They've ordered in the exhaust that I've bought and is going to be fitted today. We've also got, by the way, Parker's Mercedes E63S just here, which he did a European delivery of, so he's driven that car over in Europe. Anyway, it is, like I said earlier, an absolutely scorching day, far too hot for me as a Brit being over here, but we're going to be heading out on some nice roads to go and drive to get over to where we're going to be installing this. To give you an idea then of how the car sounds with the current exhaust setup, let me pop it into manual. We're currently in sport mode, although I don't think the mode actually changes really that much to do with how loud it is. So let's drop down some gears. In fact, I think we'll go all the way down into first gear, and you can tell that it's not actually a bad sound for a twin turbo V6. And it comes to life when you put your foot down as well. When you get higher in the rev range, you really start to get all of the noise, sound and drama out of the car. But out outside it's very, very quiet. Inside, of course, because it's basically race car, you've got this very raw feeling to it. But it wouldn't be a problem if it was actually a touch louder, because even inside, when the car is warmed up more, you hear lots of the fans and vents in here too. It's so quick as well, and when you lift off, you get those whooshes and swooshes. I'm not necessarily sure how the style of the sound is going to change, because I've not been in one of the US GTs with the US exhaust system to be able to really make that comparison. I don't know what it's going to be like. I'm just going off what I've been told and what I believe it's going to be like, in the sense of, well, it's not exactly had any negative feedbacks whatsoever. So we've got a little bit of roadworks here. In fact, in sport mode, you can't actually press the comfort mode, so you can't soften the suspension, so you just kind of got to ride the bumps. And this car, driving in the US, I'm realising a little bit more about why it's built the way it is, in the sense of having fairly soft, cushy seats, having a suspension system that in normal is very soft as well, because it makes sense when you're driving it on these roads. Anyway, let me just come down to first gear. In fact, I'm going to do something a little bit cheeky here. I'm going to come to a smooth bit of tarmac, come to a complete stop, hold my foot on the brake, launch control. That's what it sounds like then, under full load. So, I'm looking forward to how this is going to sound later on. A little bit further to go. Let's get to Galpin and let's see the new exhaust itself. I tell you what though, this is the story of Los Angeles. Whenever you want to get anywhere, particularly in the morning, the highways are basically traffic jams. But what's also slightly ironic is that the exhaust doesn't seem to be doing the rattle thing anymore. So what was happening was it kind of gave the symptoms of maybe the valve being stuck, or maybe something not working properly. But yesterday I clearly took it out for a proper blast in canyons, drove the car a bit harder, and it feels like that's kind of unstuck whatever the problem was. And now it's all normal. But hey ho, this isn't exactly a bad thing. We're upgrading it now to the sports one. And here I am then, Galpin Ford. So, where exactly are we going to be taking this car? That's what I need to work out. I think this looks like the entrance, which means lift system up. You do kind of get used to taking the angle you need for these, although I slightly think sometimes that you've basically got a wheel up in the air. Anyway, we're able to do it. This car isn't actually too low, so we're kind of around the back at the moment, but presumably the workshop is this way. I need to go in, say hello, and work out where we're taking the car. And here we are then, onto the bay where we're going to lift the car up and be able to take a look underneath it. Somewhere around is the new exhaust system, which I need to find and take a look at. Let's just have a quick sound check. So this is how it sounds at the moment, the original exhaust. This is the box then, the magic box containing the new exhaust, which you can see has some socks over the tips. We'll be able to see a look at these. Nice, the Akrapovic exhaust logo there on the side. That's really cool. So those are the new tips, which when installed are going to replace, of course, what we can see there. They are mounted to the exhaust system. You can see the muffler down below, lots of packaging going on in here, which we need to remove, and then have a look at that. Wow, that's really, really nice. That is going to be on this car, mounted inside here very shortly. The car is going up, of course, for the work to begin, but this is now in the sunshine, and just watch this for a second. This system weighs very, very little. In fact, I can hold it with one finger. I can hold the entire exhaust system with just one finger. That is, well, moderately ridiculous. The pipework all looks stunning. New heat shield around it. This is going to end up underneath here. Just look at that diffuser though. Look at all of the veins that you've got on it. Carbon fibre everywhere, the entire thing. These are all actually PPF'd, of course. They're not the cleanest in the world because it's quite hard to get under there, but this is the base of the Ford GT. And in fact, what we're going to be doing is removing this area to literally pull the exhaust out underneath. Out comes the diffuser, which as you can see is kind of filled with a bit of dirt. It's been doing a fantastic job there. We've got stones, we've got a bit of rubber, we've got plenty of grass, and VIN 211 as well, but that's one large carbon fibre piece. Then here, just to show you quickly, you can see underneath you've got the cats all wrapped up in heat shields. the back box, the original back box, also with its heat shield around it. And basically the way this works is you kind of undo these bolts that hold the exhaust onto the cats. You can see how it's mounted up in here on each side. Then it kind of pivots and comes out straight through the floor. Going further underneath, of course, you've got the gearbox, the Getrag gearbox. But this is the export, I should say, sorry, exhaust system, which I think it says somewhere around the side. Can't see that right at the moment, but nonetheless, really, really interesting to see that we're going to be replacing this, literally, with the one that is currently there. Oh, that's quite nice too. But this is all happening very efficiently. Out comes the factory exhaust. The original standard system from the car. You can see the fins that this has on the back of it. Now very sharp, very, very aggressive. And then we've got the clamps that have been released. And then here, you can see in the back, much more open than it was before. The difference in weight between this and the new system, the new titanium one, is gigantic. There is no way that I could pick this up with one hand. It is massively heavier. Even just one finger is hard without even lifting the whole thing up. Of course, the other side sitting on the box. And now, the kind of amusing thing is that I can actually come and stand inside the car. Literally, I'm inside a bit of the car, but up here you will spot where we've got the original tailpipes. These now get removed because of course the new system goes straight through and replaces those. But even back in here, you can see how the entirety of this car is carbon fiber everywhere. Even these kind of support beams, just everything you look at, it is all carbon everywhere. And magic, the new one is in, which I wasn't filming because I was actually helping out to hold it and make sure we could line it up, which at the moment has these socks on the exhaust tips, of course, so we protect and don't risk damaging the paintwork around the outside. You can see how it all lines up. At the moment, just getting the spacers in, just making sure it's all in place. Then it will be clamped on down to the cats as well down there. But all looking very, very clean and tidy. And down here, you can see the cartridge made in Slovenia. So it's quite funny actually, that's come from Europe as well. Transported over, just like the car. We're just bringing this down a little bit so that I can remove these socks. We can see the alignment, which is looking very cool. I actually like the colour going with the stripes. This has come out really nicely. So those are the new exhaust tips instead of those which came out. Not bad at all, that's looking really cool. And they're going to obviously get blue because they're made of titanium. When it's had some miles on the clock and been driven hard, these will colour in, which is going to look epic. The car is back down, which means we're about to hear the first start from the new exhaust system fitted to this. Yes, that's better. That's instantly a deeper grumble. It's not crazy, it's not hugely loud. It's just, it's throatier and there's a little bit more volume from it. I can hear that immediately, and also I can hear more of the turbo whistle as well. I can hear more of the sound of the turbo from it. Listen to that, it's a totally different sound. I was hoping that this was going to do the job, and it's done the job exactly as it should be. This is good, really good. Wow, and of course remember that exhausts do take a little bit of time to bed in for all of the air. Mega. Oh, that sounds good. It's all back down on the ground then, assembled, diffuser in place, number plate reattached. The sounds of this, it's so much deeper and more grumbly than before. Of course, my first stop with the car is going to have to be to go and get some fuel, and in fact probably to go and get a bite to eat because the day has gone by quite significantly, but oh yes, so much better than before. I can't wait to hear what this is like in a moment on the move. Of course, we'll have a little bit of driving now, and then tomorrow I'm going to do fuel run. I say tomorrow, that's about the time you're probably watching this video. Driving in this all the way up to Monterey, up to Carly, many other epic cars as well. Cannot wait for that. That looks and sounds so good. That is significantly improved on before. And look at the tips as well as it goes away. I'm a very happy one right now. Okay then, here we go on the roads, and you might notice in front of me my friend with his very, very standout satin fuchsia, I think that's what you can call it, Aston Martin V8 Vantage, which we might film with at some... Ooh! Yes! I like that sound already. I like that sound a lot. That's automatic, we're in sport mode, but of course it goes up gears quite early. Let's keep it in first gear. Of course, there's a bit of traffic for my first little drive, but I am heading to the canyons right now, to proper roads. So in a minute, there will be something with this car
driving on proper roads, not just sitting in traffic jams here in town. But it's just a deeper, throatier sound, just a little bit more as a big truck goes by. Go back into neutral. In normal driving then, it's a little bit louder, but it's not kind of drony and annoying, which of course is always important in these kind of situations. But the biggest difference is actually when you go to downshift. So if I just drop down some gears, it's so much quicker and sharper in the way that it does it. And then that sound is just, it's throatier, it's deeper, but this is the downshift that I love. Let me just speed up so I can slow down. It just does it so much more freely. It's almost like it frees the engine a little bit more. It allows the car to breathe better, because when you shift, when I shifted before, and I never really thought about this, the downshift wasn't that instant feeling, and so much of that comes from the sound that the car makes when it actually drops down from third to second or whatever it might be. And now there's just so much more speed to it. The way it just does it much quicker. Down to first gear. It feels more like a supercar. That's what this comes down to. A supercar, particularly one of this nature, should really have a dramatic and intriguing sound to it. Something that makes you feel alive when you're listening to it, when you hear it, when it accelerates. And this, the Euro spec exhaust, just, it didn't quite do that. Now though, it's come to life more, and it just ticks boxes better. It's, I mean, I didn't want to go crazy. I wanted this car to still feel usable, to still feel comfortable, to not be like antisocially loud. That's not what it's about. To still be fine with sound regulations on racetracks and that kind of thing. But now it's just a touch more life, which is exactly what it needed. The quick test then, nothing behind me at all. Come down to a stop, drop it down to first gear, of course. Here we go. Foot on the brake. That sounds quite similar. Wow. Oh, the sound is mad. And back then, as Casa vehicle virgins, 600 LT looking nice. How's it going?
Good. Your car sounds insane.
This is cool. Alright, let's flick that into park. Nice. Now this is one of the big things I was talking about the sound, but we are now joined by Parker. How you doing?
How's it going, guys? I'm doing great. How are you?
I am very good. It's cool to be here, to be at your place. Of course, I did show your car briefly this morning when I was here, when I was setting off earlier on to go and get all of this done, but now out in the sunshine, looking spectacular.
Thank you very much. Your car sounds way better.
Way better. Even just standing here. So guys, this is one of the things. You can hear the vents, the fans. They are very loud, whatever's going on in here. And normally, or previously, if that was happening, you couldn't really hear the exhaust sound whatsoever. Now, however, it's not exactly right. Could you do me a quick favour and flip it a few times? I just got to hear it from the outside, right? We've got to hear a little bit more of this now that we're out in the open, to hear what this exhaust sounds like.
Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. Wow. That is massively better. And you get the whistles as well afterwards. I mean,
that's awesome.
You just heard it after I did. Yeah, have you driven one of these?
One time.
You've driven a new one time?
Yeah, I drove 2018 Heritage red and white one.
Are you going to drive this one?
If you'll allow me, I would absolutely love to.
That's going to be on your channel as well.
Heck
your
yeah.
thoughts of driving this car, and probably, I think, my thoughts of driving your car?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. This sounds good to me. Well, this has come out exactly as I wanted it to. Massive shout out to Akrapovic. I'm very pleased that I bought this exhaust and then took it to Galpin. Big shout out as well to them for doing the work to get it installed, to get it all ready. And now, of course, it's going to be set to go up towards Car Week, Quail, Pebble Beach, you name it. Loads and loads of stuff still to come. And of course, do head over to Parker's channel as well if you'd like to see some thoughts on these two coming right up. That's it for now though. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.